Right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are on the planet. I'm so happy that you're here with me. I'm not getting reverb, so let me stop that part of it. Okay, I think we're back here. So welcome, my name is Peter J. Redding, and this is Tuesdays with Peter. We talk about a variety of topics from week to week. This week, in this last series, we've been talking about self-mastery, about life, about how does it, living, showing up in regular everyday life. We also talk about coaching mastery, talk about learning mastery, self-mastery. So welcome to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, we'd love to have you subscribe. And today we're going to really focus on what I was thinking about is life purpose. How do I know that I'm living my life on purpose? How do I know that I'm living my life purpose, again, as opposed to somebody else's life purpose? And are there ways of checking on that? And my answer to that would be yes, there is. Both intuitively, consciously, and if you will, mechanically, going through a process that we offer on CoreSELFtech.com. That's www.CoreSELFie.com, CoreSELFtech.com. There's exercises on there that you can do to determine, am I in fact living my life according to my own core life purpose? So before I open it up to visitors that have joined me in the inner circle here in the Zoom, and if you'd like to do that, by the way, Cello, if you could put in your support at coachforlife.com email address in the chat box for those that would like to join the inner circle. It's just those that are wanting to are invited to, so that you can participate in the live interaction that we have, Q&A. Or you can continue looking and seeing us through the YouTube live streaming. That's totally fine, and we grab those comments as we're doing this live, but there's about a, I don't know, 20 to 30 second delay just because. So core life purpose. I make a distinction of life purpose in two categories. The life purpose that other people have ascribed to me, for me, mostly from an attitude of wanting the best for me and my, living my own life. And the second piece of it is my core life purpose. What did my creator have intended for me? And personally, I've gone through an evolution of living everybody else's purpose through the first half of my life so far. And the second half of my life so far has been on my life purpose, or much more tuned to, congruent with, aligned with my creator's purpose for me in terms of why I'm here. What am I here to contribute back to my fellow brothers and sisters around the world? Yeah. The thing that one thing occurred to me is the feeling of living your life purpose. If there's a feeling inside of you, and you can check into it as we speak right now, do I have a sense of deep personal fulfillment? Another way of saying this that is articulated, at least here in the US, is the United States, is, am I comfortable in my own skin? totally comfortable in my own skin. I have accepted who I am, what I'm about. I don't have to prove myself to anybody else. I don't have to quote try to fit in to this group or that group, or again, whether it's politics or religion or spiritual traditions or schools of thought or politics or all the stuff that goes on, in a kind of whirlwind around me. Am I okay being Peter Redding? Am I okay being myself? And is there it's not comfort as in comfortable. Do I have a sense of belonging, a sense of contribution, a sense of ease? Not that life is easier if you're doing your life purpose. That's not what I'm saying here. But is there a sense of, yeah, good job, Peter. Well done. You're being who you're meant to be. You're showing up doing the kinds of things that you're supposed to be doing. Okay, so like on a grand, like from a creator's standpoint, looking down on me and saying, Peter, keep up the good work. You're doing good. This is not job specific. This isn't no, I wish you'd have taken that other job, Peter. It's not that kind of thing. But there is a sense of, yeah, you're doing your life's work, and you keep up the good work, Peter. That's the kind of sense that I get from if I'm putting myself in my creator's position, looking down on my life right now. So there's a sense of congruency. There's a sense of alignment. There's a sense of, yeah, you're doing great. There are specific assessments, self-assessments that, again, I offer at CoreSELFtech.com. No charge. You can download them. They're available to everybody that has access to the internet. But my question to all of you today is, how do you know, or conversely, how do you know that you're not living your life purpose? How do you know that you're in angst, you're in turmoil, you're in even if you're asking a question, am I really living my life purpose, or am I just trying to get along to get along? Am I sacrificing who I really am to try to be the person that society wants me to be, culture has said I have to be, my religious traditions say that I have to be, things from the external. So there's, again, a juxtaposition for me in terms of, am I internally being driven by that seed that creator put inside of Peter? Or am I trying to act out and be what my outside world, my generation, my age, my culture, my way of doing things, my intellect, my education, my societal, my mass media directions of what I get every day bombarded with, if I'm looking, at social media, TV, radio media, print media, newspaper media. I'm supposed to be something that I'm not being. Okay. So I'm going to stop there, and appreciate all of you that have joined me in the inner circle. I see some comments from YouTube coming in from Renee. Looking forward to this, Peter. Thank you, Renee. So how do you know that you're living your life purpose? Do you even think about it? Do you have a means of doing that? Do you check in with yourself? Do you meditate? Do you pray? Do you, take walks in nature? Do you do yoga? to quiet the mind of the outside external world bombarding you with, here's who you are supposed to be, as opposed to, I think my creator is really happy with me today. So I see Larry's joined us. I haven't seen Larry in a while. It's good to see you, Larry. Yeah. And Rajita and Charles and Christine are some of the people that have joined me already. How do you know that you're living in alignment with your life purpose? Yeah, let me just stop there rather than, like, as in coaching, we say a stacked question, asking 4 questions in a row. How do you know that you are living your own core, God-given, creator-given purpose? Larry, you've unmuted yourself, but I'm not hearing you. So there may be another switch on your headset or your mic. There you are. Yep.
Hi, Peter, and good to see you and Cello and Christina. Hey to you too. In answer to your last of your stack questions, Peter, I would say that probably I get the feeling that I'm in pretty good shape because of a overall feeling of calmness, lack of frustration or anxiety, nervousness, just kind of an overall serene but not bored type of feeling is kind of the key feelings that I have right now. Still not done growing or anything of that nature, but feeling I'm closer to living my core purpose than I've ever been, I think, without any question.
Wow. And all those feelings, I love that you just articulated, Larry, in terms of, I don't have a sense of anxiety. I don't have a sense of frustration. I do have a sense of peace. And I'm still engaged with the world. It's like I haven't resigned or retired from life, but I am feeling, I think overall that sense of peacefulness and sense of tranquility, sense of congruency, all those kinds of things, which again, for the first 37, 40 years of my life was not the case. I was always anxious. I was always in a state of anxiety. I was always in a state of, geez, I wonder if I'm doing okay. I wonder if they'll judge me to be okay for promotion, for acceptability, for worthwhileness. And all of that has gone away. All of that piece of it's gone away in the last 30 years from my life, as I have embraced that sense of core self. Yeah. Thank you for that. And welcome to the side of life that is, I'm not sure I'm going to say anxiety free, but it is anxiety reduced to an absolute minimum. It's less than 5% on my Richter scale. Love that. Rajita, Charles, Christine, what's your measure of, I'm living in alignment, or at least more congruently in alignment with my life purpose, my core life purpose?
Good morning, Peter.
So hi, Peter.
Hello.
Go, Rajita.
Okay. So the sense of actually being calm mostly, and also when I measure myself, how I used to be earlier in my life and how I am today on day-to-day basis. It's about full acceptance of myself as to who I am. And digging deeper, of course, there's a process. And then having a little, this joy, which is like throughout the day. Earlier, like I used to be so lost and anxious, and I really didn't know who I was.
Wow.
So I think coming to a place where you feel joyous and you feel calm. And also you feel deeply fulfilled at night when you are going to sleep. You feel satisfied, you feel nice, all those feelings. So I think that's when you realize that who you are and you're so deeply connected to yourself. So I think it keeps unfolding as you start connecting with yourself
Love
and you
that.
find who you are. 100% acceptance.
100%. I accept who I am. I love that.
Yeah.
And that for me also is eradicating that sense of I'm not okay, I don't fit in, or I'm not doing what I'm meant to be doing. I'm still in search of or seeking something other than what I'm currently up to in my life. And this is again kind of what you're bringing into this, Rajita, is a sense of, yes, there's a sense of doing, but there's also maybe even more of a sense of being. And it's bringing both of those into my life and embracing them, enjoying them. I mean, I'm hearing words of like joy. When I'm falling asleep, I can feel relaxed and a sense of fulfillment. Good job today, Peter.
And not judging anything, I think, Peter, not judging anyone, whoever is saying anything about me, not personalizing. And it's okay, what they think about me. So
yeah,
yeah,
there's no stickiness.
No.
It doesn't stick. It's like, that's their opinion, and
it's okay.
yeah, kind of God bless them. They don't know
Yeah.
better, or it doesn't matter, because I know that I know who I am, and I can that's the most important thing, not what they think of me. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you, Rajita. And it's an ongoing process, by the way. I think I also heard that in there. It's not like, okay, and Larry said that. That's like, okay, it's an ongoing process because I'm human. Personally, I forget who I am sometimes, and I get frustrated of, how can I not be more like him or her or them? And, in this particular arena of life, I wish I could do that as easily as they seem to do it. How come I can't do that? How come I'm struggling with this, that, or the other? So it doesn't go away, but it's like infinitesimal compared to what it was 30 years ago for me. It just is. It's just like Rajita says, it doesn't matter what they think of me. The important thing is what I'm thinking of me, and am I happy with who I am and accepted 100% of, yep, this is me, and love me completely. Beautiful. Christina, you were going to jump in a little earlier. What do you have to say on this?
I was, and good morning, and thank you, Peter, and thank you for everyone already who has shared their feelings and thoughts on how do we know we're being true to ourselves, and that we're following our life purpose. And I love what everyone else has shared, but what came to me immediately, and it doesn't need to be drawn out, it's just really the confirmation that I have received, or the feedback that I have received from my clients or potential clients. And as a new coach, newish, it's important. It's important for me to know or to hear from others that, yes, you are that person that we are looking to for support and some help, in guiding as a coach. And it's just so important to me, because every day we have to remind ourselves, are we doing what we're supposed to do, what we want to do in our life? But having that feedback and that clarification to me is so helpful. It's confirmation. Hey, you're the right person. You're the one that we know will listen to us or will help guide us. And it means a lot to me, even if it's only one or two people that may say that. That's what I need to know, to hear, to say, yep, you're on the right path. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're being true to yourself. You're following your life's work. And it's just so important for me to have that recognition, that the narcissist in me somewhat, but really it's more of, am I doing the right thing? Am I helping?
Yeah.
And that is serving, really, is my whole goal in life, is to be a servant to others.
I love that. I love that concept of being a servant leader or being a servant. I'm the way that I would put it in my language is I'm doing what I'm here to do. I'm contributing what I'm meant to be contributing. And to get the validation and the attraction, you also talk about attraction, I think is an important piece of this, is that I find that when I am being true to myself, then I'm attracting, quote, the right people to support, the right people that need us, what I call a sacred space to come into, to figure out, as you say, as a coach, what's right for me, as the client might ask themselves. Now, if they ask me that, then of course I'm not the answer, but I am the space. And there's a validation of when I am being true to myself, I am attracting the kind of people that I'm here, and if you will, meant to be serving. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So there is that Mobius, kind of like that infinity sign on its side that has that twist in it. The inner becomes the outer becomes the inner. We call that a Mobius, Mobius. And so when I am fully Peter Redding, when I am fully who I was created to be, then the individuals that I am meant to be interacting with, and for some of you that are listening to this, it might be your child. There may be just two people in the whole world that you are here to support, and that might be your two kids. And God bless you for doing that work, right? For others of us, it might be a broader community, organization, company, movement that I'm involved with on the planet, or in my community, or in my church, or in my organization. So it it also is for me a sense of, it's not just one job or one time of my life, but my life purpose stays with me. It was there even if I didn't know about it at 10 years old, because I was too busy trying to fit into my family unit, my generation, my society, and so on and so forth, my educational system at that stage in life. And no concept of, core self, right? It was still there. But my sense of core self, once I have articulated it and understand it, then it applies to wherever I go to. It applies to this job, it applies to my next job, it applies to my next career move, it applies to this community that I'm living in now, the next community I'm going to be living in at this stage of life, this stage of life, this stage of life, and so on. So the core purpose of me doesn't change. The circumstances might change, but the sense of, the more that I have noticed my clients and my students and myself living closer and closer in alignment with their life purpose, anxieties start dropping. Sense of quandary of like, why am I here, starts becoming much less of a question, in terms of, it converts to, am I doing that, as opposed to what is it? And how can I be more congruent with that? So yeah, I can't explain the energy of it. I can't explain how that, it's like a magnetic force that I attract the right people, as Christina is talking about here. Oh, you're just a perfect person that I've been looking for. It might be as a partner in life. It might be as a role that you play in an organization. It might be the role that you might be playing in your own family unit or your ecosystem. But life becomes easier in a sense, or more gratifying, I should say. More fulfilling is a better word. Becomes more fulfilling with a whole lot less anxiety. It's like I'm overcome with gratitude. Dear God, thank you so much for entrusting this life purpose to little old me. Like, wow. Whew. Yeah, and that's I want to live up to that. I want to be conscious of that. Okay. Christine, did you have anything else to add to that in terms of the role of a coach? You brought that into the kind of the conversation today, so I want to make sure that that's also being addressed from a standpoint of, yeah, am I serving the right constituency, if you will, or attracting the right constituency in my coaching practice? Anything else that you want to say about that?
No, Peter, not other than it's happening. It's organically happening, which is wonderful. And for those who have been practicing for a long time and maybe have a lot of clients, or for those who are new to the game and the role, be patient. And I'm just looking at it like a glorious celebration every time. It's not a lot, but just a few times so far that I've heard those words.
Yeah.
And it was just so important for me to share that, because to me, that's the validation. And I need a life without anxiety and worry. And in the beginning of a practice where you don't have the long list of clients, it can be a little bit, worrisome. And I've just told myself, don't worry, because that validation from people to say you're doing exactly what you need to do, because what you have, what I need, you have the goods. And that's really what I wanted to share with everyone today.
Lovely.
So thank you for allowing me to do that.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that experience. Because again, you use a key word, organic. It's when I'm being my authentic to myself, then others are attracted to that organically. It's I can't force it. There's no need to force it. People just show up. It's like, oh, whew. Thank you for that validation of me being me, and that being enough, and that being okay. And that's exactly what you're looking for. And I would, the only thing I would say to that is to expand it, is that I think that's what happens from a personal relationship standpoint. The people that you go through your life with, as mates, as marriage partners, as significant other partners, whatever that looks like on the personal side of thing, as well as for your business, or as well as for job opportunities or other opportunities to contribute. And some of them might be for nonprofits. Some of them might be just helping the neighbor, on the weekend that needs help. There's so many things that happen organically without angst, without forcing it, without, I have to do this. The only have to is an organic have to. Oh, I meant to support here. And I had a very interesting experience. I wasn't sure I was going to bring it up, but it's interesting that it's come up here now in my brain as Christine's talking. Also, the opportunity of saying no. That's not my work to do. I'm not here to support you in that way at this point in time in your life and my life. And that one's a really tough one for me. But I just had the experience of that I don't have the capacity or the skills to support you in the way that you are asking me to support you. I can still be compassionate. I can be caring. This is not a callous, get lost kind of thing, but just a hugely compassionate no. That's new to me. For those of you that know my back history and codependency, that's like a Uber, that's another step higher of being able to say no to a request for help that I was not qualified to do. Yeah. All right. Charles, I think you've been there with bated breath. How you doing today?
I'm blessed. Thank you very much. Well, it's fascinating because I'm not presently serving as a coach. I am a self-appointed facilitator for the betterment of humanity and planet Earth. And the lead quote in Science Mind Magazine Daily Guide for Spiritual Living was Richard Branson: if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. And so I'm kind of thinking, when you first talked about anxiety, because I'm self-appointed, I sometimes see some possible enhancements or suggestions for the way things could be differently that aren't necessarily appreciated when I share them with the community or the organization. And just last night, I sent a long explanation to the managing editor of the newspaper. And the anxiety is that I know I'm fulfilling my purpose within myself, but occasionally I know that I am really at the edge when I have been inspired to take some initiative that's stirring up the energies that don't really want the transformation to occur for political or economic or whatever. So I'm kind of in that space, and that reinforces my gratitude for Tuesdays with Peter, which I gave you a beautiful little minor endorsement last weekend. So this is fun processing, and I have experienced a Think TQ. E.R. Haas has developed an app. It's beautiful, based on 5,000 years of wisdom. And one of his favorite programs is repurposing your purpose. So that app hits me several times during the day with ahas that have, oh yeah, I'm on purpose, or I might need to adjust a little bit, but I really know when I am fulfilling my purpose at two ends of the spectrum, when I'm at total ease and grace and there's no angst or concern about what might pop up. And the other end of the spectrum too, I know, oh, good job, you're stirring them up, and eventually they'll come around and thank you instead of wanting to kill you, you know. Thank you.
Love your energy. And I think that part of not everybody's purpose is to rock the boat. And obviously, Charles, you are there to bring a higher level of consciousness, whether they like it or not. Thank you very much. Have you guys thought about this, that, or the other? Or why are you doing this, that, or the other? And the planet needs that. Boy, it's more now than ever. To get out of our silos, to get out of our narrow-mindedness of this is the way that life has to be. And if you're not living it the way that I want to be, or that I know that it has to be, then you're doing it wrong, including myself, by the way. So if you don't have a life purpose and you don't care about life purpose, God bless you. You have a different guidance system, and I honor that, right? So the theme that I'm hearing from all of us this morning in this, how do I know that I'm living according to or aligning with my life purpose that my Creator has put inside of me, I think at birth or before birth? There is a lack of anxiousness. There is a lack of anxiety. There's a lack of trying to prove myself. There's a lack of having to look outside of myself for validation. That goes away pretty much. Now, maybe not completely, right? I'm still human. I still have pieces of that might come in. But by and large, who cares? I get that's your opinion. You are, marching to a different drummer. That's not my drummer, right? The society for here's how to live your life right. Okay, I'm not a member of that society. Thank you. I used to be, but not anymore. I resigned. On the other side of that is a sense of, I've heard organic, I've heard fulfillment, I've heard a sense of peace, I've heard a sense of satisfaction, I've heard a sense of I can sleep soundly knowing that I did my life's work today. There's a sense of ease and grace that comes along with all of that. Not to the point of, okay, so now I've got it all handled, I've got it all figured out. I don't need to do any more work. I don't need to do any more conscious work. I can just kind of coast here now. That's not my experience, at least. but there's just a deep sense of joyousness, a deep sense of gratitude, a deep sense of fulfillment of, wow. I would love to have everybody experience this. And this this is a courageous journey to follow, because not everybody will understand or agree or pat me on the back, because it rocks their boat, as Charles says. It can go like, geez, I'm feeling uncomfortable around you. You're always talking about core purpose. I don't know what my core purpose is. And to stand up to that, live that truly in all the different parts of my life. And that's an ongoing process, just because I think being human being and having human experience is an ongoing process. Yeah. So, where are we at? We have lots of time here today. Anything else around life purpose anyone wants to talk about? Any aspect of it?
I dropped a comment in there that this conversation reinforces how important it is and how significant it is that you've gifted the world with CoreSELFie, because if you don't know your true self and you don't know that we have a purpose and what yours is, it's kind of challenging to be able to fulfill that divine destiny the way I see it. So good for you. Good on you. I'm glad you're doing something worthwhile.
Thank you. Thank you, Charles. Yeah, that's what my experience was. If I don't know my life purpose, then how do I know that I'm living it? I mean, that's sort of like, first of all, get to know it. What is it? I was frustrated earlier in life to say, well, just be yourself. Well, yeah, but who's that? Right? I mean, I have so many selves. I'm a Caucasian self. I'm a male self. I'm a elder self. I'm an American self. I am a highly educated self, and blah, blah, blah. And there's probably another 100 labels that I could put onto Peter Redding's small s self, little self. And most of them from the external world again, externally defined. You know, they're visible or they are internal. That can happen either way, but they're the small self. The big self is another issue. Who did my creator make me to be? Well, again, answering the existential questions of why am I here? How do I contribute? How does my life make a difference? Who am I here to support? So all those kinds of existential questions go to that relationship with your creator. Whatever your spiritual tradition is that you've defined that, or the words that you might use for that. It's a much higher or deeper or both experience that frankly I wasn't ready to even look into or do earlier in life, earlier than 35, 40 years old. That's kind of when my tipping point, my life, midlife crisis kicked in with all of those questions like, okay, I've got the house, I've got the car, I've got the relationship, I've got the bank account, I've got the education, I've got the prestige or the expertise that I got from working up to that point in time in life, blah, 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 blah. But none of that brought any deep peace, gut level peace to me. There was a hole. There was a hollow space inside of me that said, there's got to be more to life than this. And once I got into that part of the journey, that's when all of this started unfolding as far as how do I define that? How do I articulate? What's even a path? Who can tell me? So, some said, yeah, do meditation, and okay, tried that, but that didn't really resolve the who am I question deep down, the creators, who created me. Prayer, it was kind of shaky at that stage. I wasn't sure who I was praying to or for. And so part of my purpose was to create a, if you will, a logical, self-generated, self-engaging journey to determine who am I? My core self, what I now refer to as my core self. So that's where all of this came about. Yeah. I want to talk about a couple of upcoming things that I've been kind of threatening to do over the last 6 months or so. And Cello reminded me again today that we had kind of at least partially said that in March we would launch kind of a direction for Tuesdays with Peter. And that's going to be looking at the 21 principles that I wrote about in Positively Brilliant. And so in that book, again, that's on, I think you can still get it on, you can't get a hard copy, but you can get a Kindle copy on Amazon.com internationally. So that's kind of a nice thing about that. You just download it. I think it's like maybe $10 or something that they charge for it. Positively Brilliant, Self-Mastery is the title of the book by Peter J. Redding. There's 21 principles in that we'll go through like week by week. I'm going to reach out to the authors, had co-authors of writing up just a page or two of that particular principle, of how that has impacted their life or came into their life, or was an indication of that particular principle at play in their life at that point in time. So out of the 21 chapters, I think there's probably, I'm going to say 19 other authors that some did a couple chapters, but we'll take them one by one. And it's a search into my human nature as well as my divine nature. And I make a distinction on that. I believe that I am a divine being experiencing a human experience. So there's a sense of, and I hold it, we're all divine, whether we know it or not, or whatever kind of deity we may have in our spiritual tradition. But there's also things in there that talk about what are our beliefs? Because I think beliefs are human. A child is not born at 0 days old, 1 day old, and have beliefs about color, have beliefs around sexuality, have beliefs around politics, have beliefs around educational levels, have beliefs around all the stuff that I have accumulated through my human experience, being in the soup of an American, being in the soup of a heterosexual, being in the soup of two parents that were loving and had a high degree of desire to have all their kids be highly educated, so on, right? So that's the soup that I grew up in, but that's a human soup. So there's experiences and things that we'll get into in terms of one's beliefs, and also one's, the second set is attitudes. What kind of attitude do I bring to my life each day that aren't necessarily driven by divine? I think it can be influenced by my divine, and as I get into it, but there's attitudes, certain attitudes that serve me, what I call life affirming attitudes versus life limiting attitudes. And that's a human choice that's not impregnated into me by my divine DNA. It's impregnated into me or absorbed into me or conditioned into me from my human experience. Then we get into the divine being. What part of me is divine? How does that show up? And it shows up in terms of the grand scheme of things of core values, core purpose, core strengths. And those are the three things that we've been talking about now when we talk about self-mastery. How well do I know those? How well am I living those? How well am I embodying those and utilizing what I have been naturally, divinely given, regardless of all the external human things, right? So 21 principles that go through that. It's a little book. I mean, you can read probably the whole thing in 45 minutes if you wanted to. But it's meant to, have by your bedside or by your desk and just open it up kind of randomly and go, oh, no, that's interesting. That's exactly what I needed to hear today or be reminded of today. That's the kind of thing. Each chapter is maybe like 4 pages long. So we'll talk about that over the next 21 weeks. It's not next week, but starting in March. Okay, we'll do that this year. And then later this year in the Tuesdays with Peter, I also want to get into the inspired learning model. It's a model that came through Marcia and I back in 1996, I think, when we started Coach for Life, our coach training program, coach training school. And inspired learning is a learning environment. How do I create a learning environment where people actually learn? What a concept. To open up to that. Instead of the fear of critique, basically, that's the juxtaposition to this. So it's a learning environment that is mostly devoid of being critiqued. I know you got that wrong. You got that wrong, Peter. You got that wrong, Peter. You got that wrong. So go back and learn that. That's the old method that I came up through all of my education in grade school, high school, advanced education, master's degree, etc. Pointing out all the stuff I didn't know or I got wrong. And so how do you turn that upside down to a place of, you did that really, really well. And I didn't even realize I did that really, really well as I'm learning something that's brand new because I'm awkward. It's like, it seems like there's 50 things to learn and I don't know what I'm doing right or what I'm doing wrong. I can't discern it as a young novitiate in this particular field. So we'll talk about inspired learning and the components. There's 7 major components to that model. Yeah. So any other comments or just general questions that you can ask me about anything? Self-mastery, coaching mastery, learning mastery, anything that's coming up for anybody that you'd like to either share or ask about or explore?
Yes, sir. You have produced all of the videos on YouTube. So anyone anywhere in the world could find the whole universe of the training that you've facilitated. And you're doing it personally, especially, the first couple of processes is so valuable. I would like to see you include that in your schedule, maybe once a month, just devote some of the time to offering the appetizer of that so that people fully realize the scope and substance of the gift that you're making available. And I've been encouraging all of the fellow ambassadors and fans to write up reviews and testimonials so we can help you help our brothers and sisters awaken to who we are and why we're here.
Wow. Thank you, Charles. Yeah, it's a great idea, actually, because so much of this work, self-mastery, coaching mastery, learning mastery, is based on core self. And like you say, I've been doing the live streaming now for over a year. I started last January in 2020. And now we're in the middle of February 2022. So there's at least 50 videos, hour-long videos that I've done on coaching mastery and self-mastery and so on. So yeah, all of it, and those are still available to the public, no charge. So maybe we spend part of the each month we talk going back to the basics of core self, the process of core self. How do you bring it to people in your world, your universe? It's been used in school systems. It's been used as a kickoff for onboarding employees in companies. It's been used in hospitals. It's been used in prisons. It's been used for every human endeavor that I know or am aware of in some form or fashion. And the short version that we have in Core Self, it takes maybe 10 minutes for someone to go through that process, has proven to be incredibly valuable and accurate, by the way. So yeah, we could do that. Um, the other concept that you bring up is again having ambassadors for this work, and I'm more and more ready to do that piece myself, to harness those that are willing to volunteer or to contribute to the planet, more of the planet knowing who they are. I think that would resolve so many conflicts around the planet that it would be, yeah, it'd be a miracle. And as Charles keeps reminding me, and I keep pontificating, I'd like to get the first 1 billion people by 2025 to know who they really are, who they were created to be. And I've got to believe that there's 1/7 of the world's planet that's ready and courageous enough to know that. So we may talk even in Tuesdays with Peter in terms of how do we go about doing ambassador work? You know, how do we put it in the hands of more people in our grade school system worldwide? How do we get into the hands of people that are going through midlife crisis? How do we get it in the hands of people that are going into retirement? So there's, yeah, and I've worked with all those populations, by the way, over the course of the last 25 years, and it works for all of them. And in all cultures too, by the way, whether you're Chinese, German, Italian, Hindi, American, yeah, it's just, if you're a human being, you qualify. It's that simple. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Any other questions from anybody? I'm seeing a long share here in the chat box. Let me see if I can get at it here easily. Oh my, it goes on. All right, let me get this so I can actually read it here. I've been a serious, oh, this is from Charles. Okay, so I've been a serious student of successful living skills for over 50 years and creator and facilitator development training programs for over 40 years. The CoreSELFtech process developed by Peter J. Redding, founder of Coach for Life Institute, is the most powerful, insightful self-discovery technique I have ever experienced. I have to put you on my public relations staff here, Charles, obviously. The fact that he is offering training that could easily be marketed for several hundreds of dollars or more with more comprehensive processes freely as a gift for the awakening of humanity is truly an extraordinary act of love and dedication to helping anyone who is interested to explore self-mastery. CoreSELFtech.com. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Charles. This is, again, this is through me, not from me. God has been so, I'm living a blessed life. I truly am, in terms of health, in terms of education, in terms of clarity of thought, in terms of having this kind of technology to reach out to the world. Wow. So, yeah.
You missed the shorter one that I love. The CoreSELFtech process can help you evolve from feeling in a hole to discovering your inherent wholeness and purpose.
I love that. I missed that. Thank you.
Peter, I could just share something that happened today itself.
I would
And
love
it was
that.
about,
you.
and it was about a coaching session that I had.
Okay.
And we had the CoreSELFtech process already. And during the coaching session, I was so fulfilled when the client was, started confused, of course, and then actually bringing the core values and the natural gifts and talents and the life purpose, which she found due to CoreSELFtech. And she actually said, I'm going to just take a printout of the thing and hang it at my desk, because I need to be reminded every day about who I am. And by the end of the session, she had so much of clarity as to who she wants to be in a particular situation that was actually the subject of the session.
Wow.
It was so fulfilling for me as a coach, and of course for her. I mean, she was so full of conviction about something that she was facing. how to get along and how to do that. It's just fantastic. CoreSELFie is, I think, the key to your inner power and inner ocean where you can find pearls of who you are, I think. Seriously.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for that. And coaches that I've trained over the last 25 years continue to share those stories of a client blossoming, a client coming out of the muck and mire of all the other stuff that's around them in life with a sense of clarity, a sense of purpose, a sense of direction, a sense of satisfaction. Yeah, wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for doing that work, and thank you for helping me get to 1 billion people. Because I don't speak Hindi and I don't speak Spanish and I don't speak German. I don't speak any. I can, I do a hard. I thank you, God, for my English. That's all I got to say. Thank you for my English.
Yes, thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you, Coach Rajita. All right, where we're at, we've got 4 minutes according to my official clock here. Any other last comments of gratitudes or walkaways? What you're reminded of today?
Yeah, thank God for Peter Redding, Coach for Life, CoreSELFie, and Tuesdays with Peter.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Larry's clapping his hand, agreeing with you, Charles. So thank you. Thank you for showing up, Larry. It's great to see you and hear your voice today.
Good to see you, Peter. Thank you.
Most welcome.
Just going to buy the book, Peter, tonight, and also share it with a couple of people already.
All right.
Who are interested in
All
this.
right.
Yes.
Amazon thanks you. Fantastic. Well, we'll wrap it up then for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with Peter on Tuesdays. And we'll have a great week. Live your own life. Be happy with who God created you to be. So I will say, God bless. Namaste. Be safe. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Christine. Bye-bye.
Bye.